WNST Sunday afternoon, not just here in Baltimore where the Ravens pulled out a victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but of course the 4 o'clock games and well into the week as we now head off to California with my sunglasses on, courtesy of Tony Saragusa. But before I go to California, I got to go back to Florida. I spent most of last week over on the East Coast of Florida doing my thing with Tony Robbins and Date with Destiny. This guy lives on the West Coast of Florida in Tampa, and he's one of my people. From Maracaibo, Venezuela, except he's like really from there and has like the accent and everything. He is the Spanish language voice of the Tampa Bay Bucs, along with my pal Marty Gramatica. Carlos Bohorquez joins us here from Tampa to get ready for what in Tampa is just another week, right? It's another week towards spring training. Here we got playoff football, but I would think that was yet another game that the Bucs kind of had sitting there on Sunday that, you don't know how fast Lamar Jackson is, so you have to go chase him down, I think.
Definitely, Nestor. My pleasure to be with you, and of course, everybody's listening to you. It's my pleasure. And as you say, it's not easy to find somebody from the city where you're coming from to this country. When you hear somebody from Venezuela hear your last name, you're like a kin brother with that last name in Venezuela, let me tell you.
This is the point where I hold up the 1958 baseball card next to me to show that I actually resemble Luis. But anybody from Maracaibo, if I say my last name, there's two places, Maracaibo and Chicago. Whenever I'm in the Chicago airport and I pull my license out and I show it to the TSA, the first thing they want to know is, are you related to Luis? Now, I used to get that more in Baltimore, but for anybody from Venezuela, how did you wind up in this country? Give me a little background on how Carlos winds up calling Tampa Bay Bucs games. They don't play American football in Maracaibo, right?
No, sir. No. Well, actually, you know what? When I was a kid, we used to play a little, in the street with the friends, because the influence from the United States in Venezuela used to be a lot big, super huge. I mean, everything we received from the United States was wonderful. The MLB, NBA, even the NFL. Always. A lot of people used to watch. I'm not pretty sure if right now everybody is watching, because I don't know how is the broadcast over there. But I've been 4 years in the United States. But the influence of the sport in the United States in Venezuela is really big. As we were talking about the game on Sunday, it was really cold Sunday for me at least. In Baltimore, definitely really wet and windy. And how fast is Lamar Jackson, as you were talking about? I mean, definitely, you Baltimore fans, you have a wonderful guy taking that ball and running away and also throwing the ball, because I think it was really good performance from Lamar Jackson. Definitely, the Tampa defense was good enough in the first quarter, and then, boom, that's it. Lamar Jackson time, and that's it. That was all the game.
Well, it's like paper cuts to some degree, because it doesn't come on a 60-yard pass. It comes on a series of 5, 8, 12-yard runs. And I don't think anybody would have envisioned this. I've been watching football a long time and talking about football a long time. To say that this is a long-term plan, wake me in 2 to 5 years and tell me if this is still working. He could still stay healthy. He sort of dives with his head. But for a month and for 5 games and for where we are now and for what the defense of the Ravens needs, which is to stay off the field, the offense extending these drives, shortening the games, shortening possession time for the other team. These are things that I don't know that even John Harbaugh or the organization would have talked about. But there's a definite script now, Carlos, and this is the 4th time in 5 weeks, actually the 5th time in 5 weeks, that they've enacted the script, which are these long drives, shorten the game, and then at the end, take your chances that you have one more touchdown or one more field goal. Didn't work in Kansas City last week, but Tampa could not manage offense in the end.
No, definitely no. Actually, they just have, if you see today, last Sunday, they had 4 possessions in the second time. I mean, in the third and fourth quarter. So it's really short. As you say, Baltimore, they could handle management. Actually, the offense keeping the ball with them. That was really good. I mean, I think the performance from Baltimore was really smart. I think that's the word, really smart, because the first quarter was 0-0 for everyone. Nobody scored, but after that, the smarter team definitely was Baltimore. I mean, there is no doubt about that.
Carlos Bohorquez calls all things Tampa Bay Bucs on the Spanish language radio down there in South Florida on the West Coast, along with Marty Gramatica. Tell me about your broadcasts, because I've had the Carolina guys on. Obviously, I'm Hispanic. I've had many Hispanic broadcasters on with baseball conversation, as well as players from our country, from the Dominican, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, where, around the baseball batting cage, I wish my Spanish were better. I mean, my father didn't really push it upon me. The gringo side of my family stupidly discouraged me.
You should. With that last name, you should.
I've told Marty, when I've run around Argentina, when I've run around Venezuela, when I've been to España, Venezuela when I was young, when I was a teenager, you pick Spanish up pretty well when you're there a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, and then you go away and you forget about it. But I think we forget in this country, especially with what goes on in Washington, D.C., and building a wall and all of that, how many people in our country speak Spanish, and how many people in our country have come to this country and fallen in love with American football. Because I think for Mexican people or Dominican or Puerto Rican or Venezuelan, baseball's in the bloodline. American football is something that has exploded in this generation throughout Texas, throughout Phoenix, and California, and Florida, throughout the South, really, where Hispanic people have fallen in love with American football, and you're a part of that in Tampa. Give me the whole background about how you wound up calling the games, because Marty Gramatica and I have been friends for years, and I saw him, and the next thing I know, Venezuela kicks in, and here we are. But how many teams have Spanish language these days?
So far, when we have been in, for example, Chicago, they have one. You have one there, of course, in Baltimore. We found another one in Atlanta, North Carolina.
Miami, of course, right? Yeah.
Miami, of course. Here in Tampa, I feel really, for me, it's really glad. I feel really honorable with this position I've received this year. This is the first opportunity for Tampa having a Spanish broadcast. When I get to the team, they call me from the broadcast and they tell me, hey, we know that you've been with soccer for a long time in your country and also with baseball, so we want to try in the NFL. What do you think about it? And of course, I mean, the NFL is huge. Of course, I want to be there if you give me the chance. And I made a test, and they really like it, what we did. And then they told me, who is going to be your partner? It's going to be Martin Gramatica. What? For real? And that was awesome. Martin is a great guy. He has all this experience inside the field. That's one of the most important things when you're talking about sports, because every time, and I say that to everyone around, everyone listening the broadcast knows too much over all the guys we are inside. I mean, everybody outside knows a lot. Too much more. The thing is, we know how to say that message to the people. That's the only difference, I will say, for me, it's my concept about who are in the broadcast or no. But the people outside knows a lot more than you. So they're expecting that, of course, your knowledge being really big. And when you have somebody like Martin Gramatica next to you, that gets you more comfortable, because anything weird that you think is happening, and maybe you say like, okay, this is new. There is Martin, because he has been a lot of time on the field and he knows what is going on there.
Yeah, and Martin Gramatica, obviously from Argentina. He and his brother, so many years, beginning down in Tampa. And he kicked in 6 different places, left the league after a decade in the league. And I know he's called Tampa home forever. And, the Bucs have had a mixed bag down there. And the Jameis Winston era was supposed to be something. My buddy Ryan Jensen was out there slugging it out in the middle yesterday. Mike Smith, my dear friend and brother-in-law to my partner Brian Billick here on behalf of the Living Classrooms Foundation, also fired a few weeks ago there. What's the future there with Dirk Cutter and with Jameis Winston? And obviously the electricity that Ryan Fitzpatrick had earlier in the year, it's been a mixed bag down there in Tampa this year. It's been a big disappointment.
Yeah, it's really Baltimore. Of course, the team is out of the playoff, any chance they had. This was already 11 years without playoffs. That's really, really shame. Everybody's really disappointing. But as you say, when the years begin, nobody was expecting that victory, 48-40 over New Orleans in New Orleans house. So that was, everybody was like, okay, what's going on here? Maybe something good. And then came Philadelphia Eagles, and also was a victory at home here in Tampa. Everything starts changing. Maybe the teams were not already set up, but the defense definitely will have been the biggest issue for Tampa this year. And, of course, this episode with Jameis Winston out the first 3 games beginning the season because he had issues out of the field, out of the game. I think so many things make this year Carter still is, nobody knows what's going on with him. If he's going to say, if James is going to stay on the team, even the general manager, that's the 3 biggest questions everybody's asking around. What's going on? What's going to happen? But I think we need a little more couple of weeks because at the beginning of the season, the magic number that everybody was talking about for their quarter was going to be 8 victories. And he's going to be maximum, if he wins, he can win the 2 last games, it's going to be 7. So what's going on? There is a number there. James, he has already lost 14 games straight away. So what's going on? What's going to happen? There's everything is on the table, and let's see what's going on with the owners and the decision they're going to have at the end of the season.
Carlos Bohorquez calls all things Spanish radio for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Last thing for you, you came over to this country from Venezuela. It's not often I have someone with your lovely Maracucho accent for all my audience out there. Tell everybody what's going on in my homeland. I can't begin to tell you. My father's still alive and very late in his life over in Venezuela, outside of Maracaibo, in Ciudad Ojeda. I know you know where that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, all of my cousins still over there, and my dear cousin Nelson Escandela, who I grew up with, who grew up here right off Moravia Road, who's lived over there for 30 years. I'm afraid to go visit my cousins. I've been married 16 years. I've never taken my wife to Venezuela, although, I've told her about Las Roques and Isla Margarita and, all these other places. So, but I've never been able to take her over there. Some thoughts about where you are, because Luis was supposed to come to the States last year for the Miami All-Star game, could not leave the country, and I know you know more about my cousin than I do because you've been in Venezuela and in the media over there. You've actually sat with him and interviewed him recently, more recently than I, anyway. We make fun of politics in this country, and we live with it, and then we see what's happening to your people, my people, and I don't know what the end game is for Venezuela right now.
Well, Nestor, let me tell you something. Sometimes when I've been here for 4 years in the United States, and when I feel really blessed to be here, because this is a great country. It's just a wonderful land. Sometimes the people, I think, doesn't know how great is this country. Of course, it's not perfect. Any place is perfect, but this is a wonderful country. I mean, the way the government works, and I don't want to take a side because that's not my point, but the rules, the laws, how everything is, even the behavior of the people is it's really great. When you come from some place like Venezuela, where the communists and the regime just came there and destroy everything and destroy even culture and everything is out of our country. Unfortunately, it's a really big shame. It's not a good time to be there right now. Actually, I don't even recommend you to go right now. I hope better times be coming in the future. But right now, the political situation is basically a communist and a dictator government that is basically killing the people because the people is out of food, out of medicine. That is a strategy, but extremely big.
Well, we're going to stay in touch. Maybe we'll get some baseball going when the Tampa Rays and the Orioles strike up one of their 19 meetings in 2019. It was a pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet people from my homeland and my dad's homeland in Maracaibo, Venezuela. Keep up the great work calling the Bucs games, and make sure you keep Marty Gramatica in order. We'll see you down in Atlanta for the Super Bowl in a few weeks, all right?
Yes, sir. El placer fue mío, Nestor. Muchísimas gracias.
See you soon. Carlos Bohorquez, the Spanish language voice of the Tampa Bay Bucs from Maracaibo, Venezuela. We call that Maracucho, where my people are from. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. People ask me how I can speak so quickly, and I'm not even reading off of a sheet. It must be something something about the rapido of being Venezolano. I don't know. Our morning newspaper delivers digitally and rapidly to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com. That's 5 down and 10 a month. That's the way they do it at Planet Fitness. Get you in the best shape of your life for 2019. Get motivated. Get out to Planet Fitness and get your sweat on there with good friends there in the judgment-free zone. Also brought to you by the Maryland Jockey Club and our friends at Laurel Park. They are racing this weekend and getting plans together for Preakness 2019. A lot of Pimlico news in the news last week. I'm going to be addressing that just when football gets on. I keep my mind down on football. We got a new baseball manager in Brandon Hyde. We're going to be talking more about that with Luke Jones as well. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at Al's Seafood. I've been getting the crabs and the crab cakes there since the 1970s. Stop in if you have some needs this week, whether it's for shrimp, crab cakes, seafood, fish, booze. They got it all. Packaged goods as well. Al's Seafood right at the foot of 702 and Stemmers Run on Eastern Boulevard in Essex. Go see Chad the Crab. And while you're down there, make sure you stop and see our friends at Pizza John's, my mom's favorite pizza. I shared a video of my mom and I from 2 years ago with my favorite Santa Christmas sweater on, my holiday sweater. And did that at Pizza John's. So I shared that out on social media. People got a kick out of that. Santa's peeing off the roof. It's fun. It's the holidays. Have a sense of humor. TV with the games on, the beer, the ice cream, and you can take them home, but by all means, gift cards. Gift cards. If you can't figure out what to give somebody, give them the gift that keeps on giving. Pizza John's in Essex. 50 years doing it down at Back River Neck Road. And I got to get down there this week before the holidays and get myself some pizza. I came this close on Saturday. My wife wasn't feeling good. I've been sick all weekend. I didn't want to make anybody in Essex sick down at Pizza John's, so I didn't make it there. But we're back on the mend and making things better. Also brought to you by our friends at Strategic Factory, marketing, printing, promotional goods of all kinds, all in one shop at Owings Mills and Foundry Row. Let Strategic Factory be your 2019 strategy to make beautiful mugs like my Cole Roofing mug or my Free the Birds hat or even this Coppin State hat that I'm sporting here. Coppin State, of course, our flagship. And we'll be having a lot of the men's and women's games on. We'll be visiting with D. Wayne as well as Juan as they make their way through the MEAC. And the Terps getting ready for Big Ten play as well. Nice to see the Terps in Baltimore last week, too, at the Rofo Arena. I did get some Rofo chicken the other night. I didn't put it on the web because it was kind of late at night. But I snuck some out. I didn't know what to do for dinner when I got back from my trip. Sick as a dog. I'm like, you know what? Rofo is chicken for the soul. That's what I say. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Instagram and streaming everywhere you are. And if there's any breaking news at all, you'll get it first on the WNST text service. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Of course, Dennis Kolatzis will be here from 3 until 5 on Thursday. I think he's going to have his Santa hat on. It's true. You know what I should do? I could stoke ratings for Dennis and say, Dennis is giving away a free car on Thursday from Coons Ford. He'd laugh at that. He's giving away love and Lamar Jackson love and San Diego advice for me. 3 to 5 on Thursday. I'll be joining Dennis, and I hope you will be as well. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, as we head to California, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.